Imagine what's possible when learning doesn't get in the way of life. At Capella University, our game-changing FlexPath learning format lets you set your own deadlines so you can learn at a time and pace that works for you. It's an education you can tailor to your schedule. That means you don't have to put your life on hold to pursue your professional goals. Instead, enjoy learning your way and earn your degree without missing a beat. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.
We are back. And I don't know. I messaged Robert on Slack. And he has the knack for me to sing this. Cue the sniper girl. We hated UK versus the world. And now we're back for another year. I hope this season isn't everything I fear because I'll cue the sniper girl. Okay, look, we have a limited schedule. And for those in the public feed, as of now, RulaskaThoughts is not a truncated show.
Oh, how are you going to truncate it further?
I know. Also, what would we truncate? Like, us just...
there are no natural breaks.
I guess what I was going to say is like, I thought you were going with like, oh, well, it's already shortened. But I'm like, where, like, at least there are like segments on the recap show. Like, okay, I'm going to take this out and take that out and take this out.
No, it would see all of the above.
Yeah.
Both of the above.
Anyway, the dulcet, speaking of trunk, because I've heard there's a trunk between his legs. I don't know who I heard this from. Actually, I know who I heard it from, Robert and Christian. The one, the only Mr. Roberto Mata. Hola, Roberto.
Hola, Joe. We hated Global All-Stars.
Yeah. I know, but it didn't rhyme with
my first
world.
Correction of the season, you know what I mean?
I know, but it didn't rhyme with world in the moment. I forgot that I even sing the theme songs. I was like in the intro. I was like, oh shit.
I forgot about the theme song altogether, to be honest with you. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Robert, we have, before we even get to Drag Race, let me make a list here because I have a couple of things we need to talk about here. For Christmas, I did receive
a poster.
No. One Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom.
Groovy. Okay.
And I've been waiting to talk to you about this for the show, but I'm going to say this. People should know, and I think Robert knows this to some extent and actually likes this. I'm afraid of Robert. And so ever since Global All-Stars, I know he was exhausted after Global All-Stars. So
by my life, but not by the show.
By your life. Maybe by the show too. I'm not gonna say what, but I think there's a connection. And I'm just gonna say cause and effect, right?
Maybe.
And so I didn't really call or message or talk to Robert all that much. There was some limited conversations, but like I just said, you know what? He needs a break from me and he needs a break from the show. And so even at Christmas, I got Echoes of Wisdom, but I was like, obviously my natural inclination would be to call you because I've alienated everybody else I would talk to Nintendo stuff about.
Goodness gracious.
So we'll save this conversation for the end. We need to talk about it, but let's keep that on board. So Robert,
okay.
How are you? How have you been? What do you want to tell us here on the air?
I'm good. I feel like it's really only been a couple of weeks since we were honestly last podcasting. So I didn't feel any absence or break. I feel like we've just hit play again very quickly, to be honest with you.
Which is weird because it's been about 3 months.
It has, but they've been about some of this, but they've been a really weird 3 months for me. That's simultaneously very long and yet just like a very long single chapter, I guess.
Yeah.
But not to be too mysterious, but I have a new chronic illness. Yay.
Have we found out? Well, I'll have to ask you. Could you share what you want to share? But I have questions. Anyway.
Well, I, for the last 7 weeks, have just lost control of my skin, but we'll see how that goes. I'm okay today. Manageable.
Yeah, Robert's black now.
That'd be crazy. If my melanin just suddenly
his
turned.
His body was like, we might as well match his dick.
Bye.
Bye. This is what Robert missed for the past 3 months. Anyway, but let's actually. So we have a lot of things to talk about. Actually, I don't want to forget.
We do.
Some important things. Yeah, a lot has happened. Busy New Year. But we are going to talk about Zelda probably towards the end. It might even be a bonus segment for Patreon. So it won't necessarily be, because I'm sure people are going to be, I need to sign up for Patreon to hear what Joe thinks about Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom.
Yeah, like 3 months after release.
Here's the deal, Robert. I wanted to buy it right away. Right. And then, I got really pissed. It became a matter of principle because of this whole weird Nintendo thing. So there was that. And then as we got closer to the holidays, I was like, my parents are always struggling for what to buy me.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
And so I was like, all right, I'm busy anyway. We can wait for this. And it came at a perfect time because when I come home from work, I want to decompress now. Well, when I come home from my second job.
Yes.
I want to decompress. And so it's kind of a perfect game to decompress from because it's not even close to as serious as a traditional Legend of Zelda game. It's more lighthearted and fun.
I'm saving my response till we actually get to the Zelda segment so we can stay on track.
Well, you know what? Then before we do anything, why don't we do this? Why don't we take a break? When we come back, we are actually going to talk about the episode, Robert's thoughts, and because Robert's going to give his insightful, smart person thoughts. And I'm going to be like, what am I doing here? What?
I don't sound like that.
No, that was me, I said.
Oh.
Like you're being smart, and I'm like,
there's nothing
fireworks.
smart or particularly insightful about my views on Drag Race season 17, episode 1.
All right, here we go. We'll be back right after this. We're going to learn what he's talking about. All right, it's 2025. We all have our resolutions. We want to change our bodies. We want to change our look. We want to change how we feel in our clothes. So if you're looking for a weight loss solution that actually works, Weight Loss by Hers provides access to GLP-1 medications with personalized care to help you hit your goals. I'm going to tell you, I've been working out. I've been doing the aerobic and the anaerobic and the strength training and the Pilates and the this. And I'm still finding it hard, even with changing my diet, to lose weight. And what better way to help kickstart that than by using Weight Loss by Hers and getting access to those GLP-1 injections. Hers is transforming women's healthcare by providing access to affordable weight loss treatment plans delivered straight to your door. It's a holistic weight loss program. They offer personalized solutions, including compounded GLP-1 injections, and they feature the same active ingredients as Ozempic and Wegovy or any kind of oral medication kits you might find out there. Here's how it works. You go online and fill out an intake form. Then a licensed medical provider will determine what plan is best for you. If they prescribe anything, your program includes medication, ongoing care, and online support, and all at one low cost. Weight loss plans are more affordable through Hers with compounded GLP-1 injections starting at $165 per month, with a 12-month plan paid up front for new subscribers. No hidden fees, no membership fees. So if you've been struggling with your weight loss journey, it's time to find you the best option that works for you through Hers. Start your initial free online visit today at forhers.com/crime. That's FORHERS.com/crime for your personalized weight loss treatment options. forhers.com/crime. Hers weight loss is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions apply. Wegovy and Ozempic are not compounded. Actual price depends on product and plan purchased.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon. Sometimes the most painful part of getting sick is the getting better part. Waiting on hold for an appointment, sitting in crowded waiting rooms, standing in line at the pharmacy, that's painful. Amazon One Medical and Amazon Pharmacy remove those painful parts of getting better with things like 24/7 virtual visits and prescriptions delivered to your door. Thanks to Amazon Pharmacy and Amazon One Medical, healthcare just got less painful.
What is this?
What the? Oh, I accidentally put the long version in. I was like, what the? This is a new version I've never heard before.
I was afraid it was looping.
Yeah, and we are back. I know, like, because I was like, did it not in stereo or something? What's going on?
It was like
Anyway.
Corey King stimming on Sweet to St. Lucia.
What?
Did you not watch the Meet? No, you didn't watch the Meet the Queens. You just
No.
talked about them.
Yeah. But Robert, okay, you watched Meet the Queens. I think Nathan did too, but he didn't remember.
I actually didn't watch all of them because I'm past that point of my Drag Race fanhood. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, yeah, it's
I
one
can't
of
take
these-
it anymore.
It's one of these things where they say the same shit.
Well, then that's why a part of why I mentioned Corey King, because not only did she keep saying "a Sweet to St. Lucia," which tickled my funny bone every 30 times she said it, but she also called girls out for saying the same shit every time, which put her, just skyrocketed her to the top of my list.
Now, Robert, I did a 90-minute show laying all my thoughts out on the line. I was even thinking today, I'm like, I don't even know if I have any new thoughts. I'm gonna have to bounce off whatever Robert talks about. But were there any big topics you wanted to talk about? Anything that came out of you like, oh, this is interesting, and it can even be repeated of something we said. It's just I want to hear your take.
I have a couple. They're not surprising. I think this is conversations that a lot of people in the broader fandom are having, but just for the Joe and Robert convo of it all, something must be done about Drag Race Junior. I think
About all
these
the baby
kids
queens?
are kids.
Mm-hmm.
And, you see these confessionals and it's all, a New York Timothée Chalamet lookalike competition.
Yeah.
It's not the tea for me. I am like, my interest in Drag Race is dwindling largely because it's just the same exact thing over and over again. And if it's the same queens referencing the same exact things over and over again, and especially with the culture that's so monolithic as Gen Z's queer culture, I just can't find myself to give a shit. The oldest queen is Lexi Love, who of course I love, but she's only 34. She's 2 years older than I am. And the way that she's being framed is like she's, like 55. I don't care about that. Like I think she's great and her perspective's great, but it's a 34-year-old versus 10 22-year-olds.
Well,
I don't give a shit about
40.
what a 22-year-old has to say at any time of my day, month, or year.
Just wait till you hit 40 and you go back and watch season 5 and 6. And they act like Bianca Del Rio and Chad Michaels are like Grandma Moses.
But I think you are right in the sense that they've always been young, but now I'm older, so now I just see them as young as they truly are.
No, but you're hitting on something. I was just talking about this the other day. There's a guy at my gym who he looks okay, right? In terms of just physical shape, right? But he dyes his hair and his goatee jet black, right?
Oh, this poor diva.
And the problem with that, this is what I was talking about it, is it's having the opposite effect of what he wants. Is he thinks it's making him look younger because there's now zero gray hair and it's an unnatural color of black. Which the reality is it's highlighting his wrinkles, his flaws. It's making him look older. Okay. And the reason I say that is because what you're touching on, what you're recognizing, I don't think has anything to do with your age, is the show is getting, because I'm going to say something. I'm saying this in the nicest way possible to RuPaul. this is the first time when she came on the main stage that she actually looked old. You know,
I didn't clock that.
I'm like, ooh, she looks like an older woman. You know, which before I wish she always just seemed sort of always like 45 or 40 or something, you know?
Wow.
What? What?
I don't know if I would ever say Rue looked 45.
Okay, 50. I don't know, whatever. What would you say? You think, she's in her early 60s. You don't think she looked in her early 60s?
I think she looked like a lovely, regal lower 50s.
Sure. Okay, I'll give you that. I didn't know what to do with things. I'm so young, I don't know what old people look like. And so, this is the first time like, oh, this is like an older woman in her 60s trying to look young, right? And so there is this thing where the show is fighting to stay relevant. But I think the mistake it's making is, girl, lean into it. And actually, the one compliment I'll give Gen Z is Gen Z, I think for the most part, as young and stupid as they can be, don't also care about age as much. Does that make sense? So that if you did have a smattering of girls in their 20s, but also 30s and 40s and maybe even 50s, they wouldn't care, I don't think. But it's the show trying to be young and trying to be, and the problem is they missed the mark. And I think that's why you have things like Katy Perry.
Well, I think that you are correct in correcting me and saying I do give Gen Z the credit to know that they appreciate older icons as well. You know, I think the most recent example is UK6. Everyone loved Lavoie.
Yeah.
And then you have Gen Z, like daguerreotype of Chiranthrax, who's just good for her. She's great, but like there's nothing new there. But I mean, nothing new was with Lavoie either way, but we still loved her. I don't know.
If I'm being honest, I don't think it's just a Gen Z thing. We faced the same thing when Jon Stewart retired the first time. When Jon Stewart retired, he was probably in his early 50s. And The Daily Show was as big as it ever had been. He went out on top, right? And it was huge with the young people. And when he left, corporate America, you know, when he started the show, he was the young gun, you know, and then he aged. And of course, corporate America stepped in and they were like, well, what we need now is a super young person who's international and whatnot. And I don't think this Trevor Noah was very good. And I don't think The Daily Show's ever found its footing again. When the truth of the matter is, if they went with someone maybe not in their 50s, but in their late 30s, early 40s, who kind of has a point of view, then the young people don't necessarily always want to see young people, especially in terms of politics. And I think in terms of Drag Race, I think they would live for older queens, because I think the sad truth of the matter is, I think you'll have a lot of information. I think you have a lot to say on this. I think that the reason seasons 6 and below were so good is because you had a generation of drag queens doing the show who were doing drag for years.
Oh, yes.
When there was no TV show and they were paying maybe $50 at the local drag bar if they won the competition. Like, they were doing it because they love drag. And there's a certain kind of personality that comes with that.
Absolutely.
And when you do drag, as a lot of Gen Zers are, because now Drag Race has made drag, at least temporarily, I think we were seeing to see the downturn here, a viable career opportunity. It's a different thing, you know. And
well, so now it's influencer adjacent. So it's something that those shallower, not artistic people like, Sam Starr fall into.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't give a fuck. Yeah. And what I'm looking for, I think, from Drag Race, especially you mentioned the older seasons that had a lot of queer icons for, at the time, younger gays like me to look up to. I'm looking for authority.
Yes.
And I don't get authority from all these 23-year-olds. I love Jewel Sparkle's energy. I don't care about anything else she has to say.
There was this story, I would see it in acting circles or whatever, right? About this woman, and she was an opera singer. And she was very young. She was an ingenue. And she went to go audition for this like famous director. And she hit it. She nailed it. Technically she hit all the points, right? And he still denied her. She was crushed. And he was like, go out, live your life, come back. Right? And then she goes,
it's like the plot of every high school acceptance into college CW show.
Yes. And she comes back and then she said, I'll make some sort of corny graduation cap that she threw in the air. But the point is that then she came back and she had lived a life where there was pain and tragedy and joy, and she had experience under her belt. And that even it was just the subtext of what she was singing about, she was able, it transformed her performance. And I think the same thing is true with drag or any art form. You know, there's a story I often told. I used to do this all the time. We're talking about in the show is if you ever want to fucking cry, go on YouTube. I don't know if you'll cry. I cry because I'm a fucking faggot. But I don't know if any of you are gay who listen to the show. But
I have faggot tendencies, but crying's a tough one for me, as you know.
Well, the reason I'm saying this is like go and find video of Judy Garland singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow at the end of her life. And she's just singing a fucking the same song. She's for the millionth time she's singing it on the Merv Griffin show or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. But she's lived this life. You know the tragedy, the horribleness that's happened to her, and it comes out in her voice, whether she likes it or not. And it changes the tenor, the timbre, if you will, of the song. And you project, even if she's not feeling it, you project all this onto the song because you know how her life is going to end.
For sure.
And so I think this is what you're seeing when you see a Jasmine Masters, let's say. I live, I laugh, I love. Yeah. You know, she don't have to. She's just, you know that this bitch has been in fights in an alley behind the executive club in Long Beach.
The Here Lounge.
Yeah, the Here Lounge, exactly. So I don't think you're wrong. And I think they're doing a big mistake by not doing at least a season focusing on more seasoned queens.
Well, I mean, I think in the course of this conversation, I finally condensed it into a single word, which is authority. That's what I want. I don't want clean, sanitized child drag. I think that's great. I don't mind seeing it on Tuesday at a drag show, but on Drag Race, I want to see the best of the best, not a cast of 8 up-and-comers.
Yeah. Did you watch this Drag Race Down Under?
No, not a single episode, actually. I've been watching Canada, though.
I know it's sad that I didn't even watch it either. Now, like a probable afterthought won the whole thing.
Was it? I shouldn't say because I learned my lesson last season.
Oh yeah, that person got really mad. Well, whoever wins Drag Race Down Under, they used to message Nathan about the show.
Oh really?
In DMs, yeah.
That's sweet.
And they were probably like, "Oh, now Joe's gonna read me for filth." I'm like, "I'm not doing it this season," which is probably for the best. Okay, now Robert, you're Mexican.
I am.
And people who are on the public feed, they're not going to know what the fuck we're talking about. But I went on an extended rant about Mexicans and their fireworks. Did you want to respond to any of that?
I gave you a good laugh. I have, at least in my extended Mexican family, we are not of the firework breed. I think we have reinvested our wages into something a little bit more, I don't know, permanent. Mm-hmm. But it is, I love New Year's Eve. I love when the Dodgers win a game. I love the whole week surrounding July 4th because I can open my windows and I hear fireworks from every which direction and can even see them actually in some places for days on end. I know that it bothers a lot of Angelinos. I like it. Call me a fucking 4-year-old, but I live.
I'll just call you a fucking Mexican. There's somebody who loves it. They do.
I'm not buying them, though. I'm not wasting my money on it. I'm not risking my right or left hand. I'm not even asking anyone to do it. I'm just a passive Angelino who lives in this town listening to all the other ones, pop off.
I'm going to ask you the basic question that I asked Nathan on the show, but what did you think of that lip sync? What did you think of the winners? What did you think of the loser? What any thoughts on the choices that were made in this Raider Queen?
I think that the lip sync, I think that's my first time listening to that song in earnest, if you would. And I don't think it's as sonically offensive as all the gays seem to suggest, but everyone has to do that very performative, oh, I'm cool because I hate Katy Perry thing.
Yeah, fuck
it is
those
what
guys.
it is. I don't like Katy Perry either, personally, but she doesn't offend me. Although her smile doesn't quite reach her eyes, and so therefore I think she's evil. But that's another story for another day, I guess.
She just seems like a tryhard.
Well, yeah. Jules, she has no soul in her performance, even though I think I love her confessionals. I love her energy. But like the splits are like not done at moments that maybe they are. They're just so oversaturated already. She's like a new international season of Drag Race on splits. It's just kind of whatever. Susie Toots cute. That's that. I find myself very whelmed by everything that happened this episode. Combining the Mexican conversation with what we just talked about the show, I did not love how everyone kind of shit on Arietti doing Folklorico.
Yes.
What did you think?
It did bother me. I don't have the sort of like Chicano studies vocabulary to articulate why it bothered me. And I think, taking everything into consideration of who was saying what, I thought there was an extra landmine I was going to step on.
And I'm going to step on it when you're done.
Okay. And I'll be behind you, but especially on the main show, on the public feed show, I don't know if it was a thing I wanted to step on, but yes, I clocked it. What were you going to say?
Of course, Trinity the Tuck's Southern ass drag daughter is the first one to say, oh, she's just twirling a skirt. Any of us could just twirl a skirt. If you diminutize Gia Gunn's fantastic kabuki performance that way, Raja's Indonesian one, Nymphia's Taiwanese one, really, Geneva Carr comes nowhere near this sort of reverence.
I forgot she existed. I'm mad that you reminded me she existed.
I know. I'm sorry. I apologize to both of us for that. But okay, so we've seen a lot of cultural dances exposed on Drag Race, and they have been rightfully applauded and lauded by the fan base. I do agree that Arietti did not add any layer of camp or drag to her performance except for the initial grito. And on top of that, it's not consistent at all with her very avant-garde conceptual, I'm so edgy and weird drag persona. So like it's a little incoherent there, but I don't understand why it doesn't deserve, I suppose, the same cultural safeguard that all the other ones on the show have gotten from the fans. Instead, you just, like I said, have everyone just kind of being like, oh, well, all she did was twirl her skirt. It just really shits on the whole art form of Folklorico, which is one that I don't even participate in myself, nor really even see all that often, but I still respect it and enjoy it as a cultural Mexican dance. Nah? Am I wrong? Am I being
no, you're right. And like I said, I don't have
protective?
Yeah, no. I don't have the Chicano studies background to talk about this. But what I would say is, just from my uneducated background, is that I think we as Mexican people not only get to choose our families, we also do this thing because we float somewhere, because the country is so close to ours geographically, and because especially in Southern California and parts of it, our culture is so pervasive in this culture, and just the history and how intertwined it is. I feel that, and we float in an area of whiteness. Okay. We're not in the club, but we float just outside of it. And so I think the problem with that is it affords a minor degree of privilege, but it also allows them the freedom that they feel to also disregard any sort of serious Mexican culture as frivolous because of that whiteness we're floating in. We're not black. We're not Asian. The otherness is much more vague. And so I think it gives them like it's okay that we make fun of it. I think you see it a lot, and also we do no problems because we also float in this whiteness, and there's a problem where we want to be close to this whiteness. And I'm saying collective we, not me and you, Robert. And even though neither one of us has any sort of discernible Latino accent, nor do we know Spanish.
Well, we don't think so, but we talk to each other, and I'm sure other people can hear it in our voices.
True. Yeah, you know what? This has come up a lot.
That might be more of a Californian thing.
This has come up a lot is that, and I know if Christian hears this, he's going to get really upset. But like, at my second job, there are people there who they're just old ladies, right?
Yeah.
But they're Mexican, but they're very fair-skinned. Mm-hmm. But they're Mexican old ladies, right? And I see them, and I see a Mexican old lady, And I've heard people talking, and they'll say like, "What? So-and-so is Mexican?" I'm like, it's super obvious to me, right? And so one that we know together is Christian. Like, whenever I hear people say that they didn't know Christian was Mexican because he's so fair-skinned, I'm like, well, yes, he's fair-skinned, but he has a Mexican face and facial structure. And this is not an insult. I think Christian's beautiful, So, like, I think it's a beautiful aspect. But I think he looks like a Mexican man who's just very fair-skinned, And so because we float in this otherness and whiteness and whatnot, I think we do ourselves no favors. So, like, there's a video that I remember seeing of someone on campus at UCLA, and they're wearing like a Frito Bandito. It's a white guy wearing like a Frito Bandito outfit. And he's going up to non-Mexican, non-Latinos on UCLA, white people, Asian people, anybody, right? Just not Latinos at UCLA. And they're like, this is very offensive. I don't know why you'd wear this. And then he goes to like a construction site with a bunch of Mexicans, and they're like cheering and stuff like that and laughing. They think it's the greatest thing ever, right?
By the way, look, I realized my cousins.
Yeah, it's selective editing as well. I'm sure he went to Latinos at UCLA and they're like, dude, this is fucking not it, right?
Well, but anyway, you know how uppity. Oh, can I use the word? I can because I'm Mexican. You know how uppity educated Latinos can get.
Yes, I know, right? Exactly. Cut to that. That's the subtitle of the show. So, so what I'm saying is we've given them license as well by laughing with the joke to do this. And you're right, because there was something uneasy I felt when they were saying this, because especially when they were like, "Oh, you're just standing there and twirling," I'm like, "Bitch, you're about in 1 second to get up and just sing the same fucking track about how everyone should watch out for who you are, and then you do a death drop." Thank you.
We will see. Obviously, no one's in the mood. Maybe some people. No one's in the mood for a girl who's walking in with an American flag dress either. So I didn't even know that I disliked this girl so much, but I know who I don't care for this season.
Who?
Fucking Sam Starr.
Okay,
one of several people with an AI generated name.
A lot of the names are not very good. Jewel Sparkles.
What is that? Crystal Envy?
Yeah.
Again, the cavalcade of barely legal tweens.
Yeah. Look, in the fog of horror, I'm totally lost with this Sam Starr. So maybe I have to take a second look. Once the like, oh my God, he's so fucking cute wears off. And this is one that I will agree with you on. This is because there was somebody you were talking about once that I don't remember who it was. You're like, just go to fucking one of the pit crew guys from Global All-Stars. Yeah. This is one that literally you just throw a rock on a Sunday anywhere in West Hollywood, you're going to hit someone who looks like Sam Starr.
Oh my God. At the viewing party I was at, there were 10 Sam Starrs.
Yeah, exactly. So I realize it's like he's the definition of basic white twink. I mean, literally, if you look it up. But I will say I have to rewatch it. Maybe I don't remember seeing anything that was particularly like egregious about him at this stage, because I didn't feel he was a focus of this episode.
No, I'm very much just being oversensitive in a way that I'm primed to be, because I'm used to this kind of I don't know, it's not discrimination, but it is certainly like a hand waving of culture, if you would. And I think I've expressed this a lot. I don't understand how Derek Barry's become an icon when she very much she's from Modesto, which is where I grew up, and she reminds me 100% of a lot of the people that I grew up with who who weaponize their ignorance in a way that allows them to be like racist or racist adjacent. And I personally, as a defense mechanism throughout living through life, think that I can recognize that in that undercurrent in white people pretty easily. And Sam Starr sets off all those alarms for me. So I'm just like, nah, I'm over it.
You know what's funny in a way that we identify with or we sympathize with our oppressors or whatever is, I've told this story before. I'm not going to repeat it. I've told it 1,000 times on all the shows about when I went to the gay Disney night when I was in my youth, and I was hitting it off with this faggot and things were going well, and he asked me I went to go buy us a soda or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then when I came back, he had joined up with his friends, and this one fucking mean gay was like, all right, thank you, bye, and took him off, right? He looked exactly like this Sam Starr, the mean one. And I clocked it as I'm like, oh, that looks like that gay guy that was mean to me at Disneyland 30 years ago or wherever it was. Oh my God, was it really 30 years ago? Oh my God, if not, it's very close to 30 years ago. Oh my God. Fucking shoot me right now.
I was learning to walk.
Girl, you were learning to walk, motherfucker.
I was slow at learning to walk. I didn't really care for it.
It was definitely before the year 2000. I'll tell you that. 100%. Oh my God.
Was Pokemon even out?
I don't even know what that is. Anyway, any other thoughts on the show?
Two super minor things that I just want to say, since it's been said. I personally, as someone who put an ungodly amount of hours into Animal Crossing, I find Anya Nerve fucking hilarious. I love that she said that stop building your fake house, build a real house. She's so damn real for that. And I happened to be at her home bar in Cleveland last year. And
why were you in Cleveland?
For a wedding.
Oh, okay.
They were so fucking excited for her, so that made me really excited for her. By osmosis. And I loved her runway walk, not the look, but the walk was fun, and the way that the judging panel had their come together joke about whether or not she's going to walk the full runway next week. That was probably the hardest I laughed all episode. And then a bit later, this is just I have to give this to you. Katy Perry calling her breasts utilitarian makes no fucking sense. That is not what that word means.
I can't go on a Katy Perry rant, not because of time or anything, but because the people have to pay for that. Well, if you want to hear that, go to patreon.com. I did a lot of Katy Perry talk.
I'll leave it there then.
Well, I think what we do have to address right now is of some sad news in that the Vivienne, winner of season 1 of Drag Race Season 1, passed away tragically over the week. And I don't know if Nathan and I talked about this on the air. Did we talk about what we thought the cause was?
No. I think you wisely avoided that.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to talk about it now.
What a surprise.
But in an educational kind of way, because I don't think I've only shared this with Nathan in the middle of the day yesterday.
Sure.
I didn't have a particular feeling for the Vivienne, if I'm being honest with you. I didn't hate her. I thought she was okay. I thought she was fine. She was great she was one of the All-Stars, right?
She was on All-Star 7, yeah.
Yeah. And she was fine. I had no problem with her. But I took it really hard yesterday in the middle of the day. I took it really, really hard. I didn't cry or anything like that, but it really kind of fucked my day up for a bit. And we could talk about why in a second, but for some reason, and this is why it fucked me up, so that I projected, I assumed it was suicide. We still don't know. Where Nathan speculated it was something else. And then maybe perhaps an overdose, accidental overdose or something. I don't know that we'll ever learn. But it's very, very sad to see someone so old. Well, that's the thing, too. Going with your point, she was 32. She was your age.
Mm-hmm.
But, which Nathan, again, pointed out in private, he doesn't know if that was real or not.
Why are you bringing that to light if Nathan said that in private? You think it's a
throwing him under
Hollywood
the bus.
star situation? A
I think
Manila?
it's a ginger minge, yeah.
It's honestly probably the vast majority of
Yeah.
a lot. Why would you want to seem younger on this show? But anyway.
Well, why would you want to seem younger when you like be an amazing if we found out she was 42, I'm like, oh shit, she looked great for 42. You know?
That's true.
But yeah, because people are always telling me I look great for 28, and that's why I don't lie. You know?
So true.
Yeah. So anyway, with the Vivienne, it was very, very, very sad news. Very, very, very sad news. And the reason it fucked me up was because I assumed it was suicide. We don't know what it is we're seeing, I love how we're having a serious conversation. I'm going to say the following words. Selena Titties recently came out and talked about how there's such a glut of drag race queens that they're just not making money anymore. There's too many of them. And so I just started to project and think, especially everything's going on with Afterthought and stuff like that. By the way, everyone, just before you think that Afterthought is back on the upswing now that I have a second job. But still, that, this whole world, this drag race world, it's getting tough again to be a drag queen. Financially, culturally, it's starting to go back the other way, especially where we're going. And so, I don't know, it just really, really bummed me out. It reminded me of how dark this world could be. I don't know, did it affect you in any kind of way, Nathan? I mean, not Nathan, Robert.
And not to the degree that you're talking about, no.
Well, look, there was a lot. I mean, I was saying off the air about something that happened yesterday having to do with work, like drag race work, that was annoying me. So it was all combined with why is the world so fucking dark? This should be it's drag. It should be happy,
You know what's really dark on a somewhat related point?
If you don't say your penis, please. It'll be really offensive.
No. I mean, not right now. Aubrey Plaza's husband committed suicide.
Oh,
and
wait,
I just kept...
Wait. I'm not going to step on your joke, but I'm hoping you're going to say what I think you're going to say, and that thought came to my brain as well. Go ahead.
When she guest judged on Drag Race. We should not be laughing. This is not Fierce Boots, girl.
No, but I'm laughing at that you and I thought the same thing.
I wonder how many people did but haven't said it yet because it's not considered, kosher on Reddit. So it's, everything's too soon all the time.
But how many? Well, I guess there's a big number.
I mean, I would never post anything like this. I just think it's a dark, weird, twisted, morbid thing that she said, this is the best day of my life. I'm killing myself tomorrow. Yeah. And then she experiences this awful, horrible thing to happen in her
maybe
life.
her husband had a great day and then watched the episode. He's like, good idea.
Why would I bring this up with you?
Well, speaking of, so there were two responses. Well, there are many responses to the death of the Vivienne yesterday, but there were two drag queen responses. Both of them taking the piss out of it. And I think personally, look, everybody has their own opinion of things, but I do think there is a lesson in it, in that Lady Bunny posted sort of a dark joke about it in giving her, expressing her sadness. And it was done in such a way, there were some people who were offended, but to me, it was done in such a way in that this is drag. Speaking of old school drag and the elders, this is drag, and that the Vivienne, I do feel, and I don't know her at all, would have thought it was funny. Whereas Tyra Sanchez, and I know this whole thing about she doesn't want to be called Tyra Sanchez anymore, but I think she's lost that right now. Made like a really just nasty, mean, awful joke about, not even a joke, a nasty comment about a tweet that the Vivienne made 4.5 years ago. Went back and found it and made this really horrible, horrible comment. And I don't know, did you have any thoughts on these two responses?
I think we're probably aligned. Obviously Lady Bunny is going to be Bunny in every situation. I don't know when you would expect her not to be. And the way that she sent off the Vivienne is exactly the way that I would expect her to send any of her friends off who she, has a good joke with. And it wasn't even that offensive. It was just a picture of an older woman. It was like, I love Sharon Osbourne, like, Lord, I loved you on Big Brother or something like that. What? There's no need for all these parasocial fans to try to tell a real person who lost a real friend how to grieve. That's just let her do her thing in her own way. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Granted, I don't know why everyone has to make it so public, but that's a whole nother conversation. As for Tyra, I don't know how miserable and pathetic a person you have to be to hold on to a single tweet for those 4.5, 5 years. And the news reaches you on your, poor isle of unemployment or wherever the fuck she lives. And that's the very first thing she chooses to do. It's just so pitiful. It's just so sad. Not in a way that I give a fuck about, because fuck a person like that. But it's just, I don't feel anger. I'm like, you're as miserable as you deserve to be. That's it. Fuck you.
That's why someone needs to go to Tyra Sanchez and tell her about ChatGPT.
And what will ChatGPT do to help her? You love to proselytize.
It will say, Tyra, I don't think that's the smartest tweet to post right now. You might.
And then Tyra will threaten to bomb ChatGPT headquarters.
Yeah, she will. She will. All right. Well, why don't we call it a day there?
So do I say bye or what?
We're doing the outro right now.
Oh, okay. Yes, I know.
I don't know if you heard the music. Let me see. Anyway, Roberto Mata. We'll be seeing you having more casual conversations like this throughout the season. What do you got going on the next week?
I got to return to work like everyone else. The industry's, it's not running again, but at least it's more than it has been the last couple weeks. So
yeah,
that's really it. It's nice.
Any news from your personal life, your love life?
I mean, my whole life has been on a standstill for the last 6 weeks while I suffer. So we will see. I'm tired of throwing money into doctor's bills that don't render me any results. That's for sure.
All right. Well, we're going to call it a day there, guys. I hope you don't tell Tyra Sanchez about your illness. Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous 2-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass?" So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.